Ladies and gentlemen, we need to talk about one of the most emotional arguments in crypto, and that is Bitcoin versus XRP. And let me just say that both sides are going to be triggered here because Bitcoin maxis will say that anything besides Bitcoin is useless, and XRP maxis are going to say that the system didn't even start yet. And the truth is, now in 2026, that both sides are missing the point completely. It's something much bigger. This is scarcity versus utility, a vault versus a bridge. Bitcoin and XRP are two completely different assets, have two completely different goals. Let me simplify this for you guys in a way that most people won't. Bitcoin was created out of a rebellion. 2008, housing market crash, banks collapsing, trust within the system has been broken. Bitcoin basically came in and said, we don't need the system. We could have our own world here. Fixed supply, no control, no permission. That's why people trust Bitcoin, and that's why it's became, what people say is digital gold. Not because it's fast, not because it's efficient, but because people believe that it can't be messed with. And in finance, belief in something equals value. Now, XRP, on the other hand, it didn't come in and try to destroy the system. It came in to actually fix the system. And yeah, I know some of you already hate that, but stay with me now. Instead of asking, how do we replace banks? XRP asks, how do we make money move better between the banks? That's a completely different game. Bitcoin stores value and XRP moves value. One sits still and protects wealth, and the other flows through the system. That's like comparing a vault to a highway. It doesn't make any sense. And let me make this even more uncomfortable here. If XRP actually takes over global finance, it won't run on a small price. A low price XRP would no longer make sense. It would actually make XRP insufficient because the more value you have to move means that the price has to be higher in order to reduce friction. So yeah, go ahead, argue that in the comments all you want, but think about it. Trillions moving daily, you can't have a $1 asset be doing that. Now here's where people start getting really triggered, and that is the market cap argument. People say, oh, if XRP went to $100, $1,000, $10,000, the market cap would have to be blah, blah, blah. That's nonsense. Those people do not know what they're saying. That only works and is only into consideration if all of the supply is freely circulating. That's not the case for XRP, and that's what people don't understand. People think that XRP is some stock where you could, do a market cap calculation with the supply. XRP is a digital commodity. A commodity is priced in based on utility, liquidity, and inflow. And if XRP becomes infrastructure, which it is, then supply would get locked. Institutional reverses, liquidity pools, settlement rails here for XRP. This is the kind of conversation we're having for XRP and not for Bitcoin, which means the actual tradable supply for XRP shrinks. And that's basic supply and demand right there. The prices won't crawl up. They will skyrocket up that way. Prices will jump very violently for XRP, and that is exactly what a repricing is. And most people won't see that coming for XRP until it's too late, unfortunately. Now let's zoom out. Imagine two cities separated by, let's say, a river. Bitcoin builds the strongest vault on one side, and XRP builds the fastest bridge between the two. Well, then which one is more valuable in that case? Well, it truly depends. If people are scared, they'll run to the vault. But if the economy is moving and doing something, then they need the bridge. And markets simply just rotate between those two needs, so both of them are needed. Now, here's the part that most people won't admit is that Bitcoin already won its own narrative. Everyone already understands Bitcoin, scarcity, store of value, digital gold. We get it. It's very simple to understand Bitcoin, but XRP, a lot of people don't actually understand it. It's actually quite hard to understand without going into the details. But misunderstanding is where opportunity lives. When the market finally gets it, and I mean the institutional market gets it, that is when we will see that repricing. And let me say something that's going to trigger both sides here. Bitcoin does not need XRP, and XRP does most definitely not need Bitcoin in whatsoever. But the world might need both Bitcoin and XRP, one to store it and one to move value. And historically speaking, the biggest fortunes wasn't made by just off holding gold. It was actually made by the people building the rails. And that's exactly what XRP is doing. That's why I'm all in on XRP, because I believe that XRP provides a better long-term potential ROI than Bitcoin. Now, does that guarantee that XRP explodes by tomorrow? No, let's be real here. Utility alone doesn't move the price. It actually takes liquidity to move the price. Markets can ignore things for years, but when utility meets scale, things start to move very fast. And 2026 might be the year where the market stop caring so much about the narrative and actually starts focusing on the functionality of things. So here's the real question that you have to really think about right now is that, are you investing in something that is already understood today, or are you investing in something that is going to be understood years later? Are you investing in something that the system might need tomorrow? Because by the time everyone already agrees on the answer, the move is probably already over. So let me know in the comments, are you guys team Bitcoin or team XRP? And guys, smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.